Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to the summary video for multiplayer game number 65. So if you didn't watch the actual game, this is going to be a free-for-all 6-player no quitters game. As usual, no quitters is a Steam group that gathers people who just want to play Civ without people quitting on them. You can find the link on my main channel page in the About section, so just check the profile, read the rules, join the chat, and ask a moderator for an invite. So let's get to this game. We've got in here Sativa, Cage 420, Devdor, Massinissa, and Gildald. Gildald is playing Arabia, Massinissa playing Rome, Devdor Portuguese, Cage 420 Indonesia, and Sativa playing as Egypt. And I rolled Iroquois. Now, if you can see this screenshot, I'm not super happy and enthusiastic about this start. There was a huge decision: go on the mountain and forfeit the coast, or just stay on the coast and don't have a mountain in your capital, so not a chance for an observatory. Well, I choose to plant coastal in hope that actually that extra food can guarantee me more science than observatory. Was it a wise choice? It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. Well, I'm not gonna say on this screenshot if I actually used that water that well or not. What's important to see on this screen is that you can see Portuguese capital in the north. So my first guess was to build up a settler. Definitely don't wait for a free settler. Build up a settler and at least block the north, so plant a city on the gems preferably, so I have a very nice defensive city in the north and I will not have to worry about Portuguese attack early on. So I do have a luck in the game. So Arabia is in this game, and of course, where is he? He's obviously close to me. Now you can see Mount Sinai in the south, but I was thinking like, okay, that's a cool wonder, I would really love to get it, but defending that spot in any way is just not possible. If he will rush camel archers, I will be in so much trouble. Even Grand River does not look that great for defense, because camel archers can easily step on a hill and shoot the city, right? So it's really a hard defensive spot. But, well, I definitely wanted to have a frontal city, and that, to me, it was looking like the best city that I can get, to have some sort of a frontal blocking defensive city against camel archers. I was really not happy about this. Basically, I was pretty afraid. Pretty afraid about getting camel archer rushed again. That didn't work that well for me in the previous games, I guess. So I was pretty not happy with being in front of Arabia, and he's really close. Look at that: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 tiles between nice and our capital. So if he would decide to go camel archer rush me, I would probably be in a very bad spot. So though it seems strange, I actually decided at some point of the game that I will not worry about Arabia that much. Well, he had Egypt pretty close on the west. He had Rome in the north. Well, basically almost on top of his capital. Almost on top of his capital. And yeah, he did plant Mount Sinai after all, but I had no intention to actually go to war. So at some point I actually decided, after National College planning my 5th city, I basically decided, yeah, I'll try to build up a little bit of army, but to be honest, if he's going to decide to attack me with camel archers, I'll probably will not be able to do it. And he was looking a little bit friendly. As usual, I was trying to do some diplomacy with him, and he showed no intention to actually rush camel archers. On this screenshot, you can basically see that he has He don't even have horses. I mean, like, he has horses in his cap, with his cap in his second, third city, but he didn't even buy those tiles. So that was kind of to me that, okay, he's not even building up horses, so he is not trying to save up gold and upgrade them to cam launchers. So maybe he's actually true and he was not planning to attack me. Yes, I did try to build out some army, but at some point I just decided, just screw it, I'm just gonna go a glass cannon, economic science focused build, and because if I really want to have a chance in this game, it would seem like Egypt and Indonesia are actually pretty peaceful to each other, and they are definitely on the other side of the land. They are leading in score. Egypt is making crazy wonders, so if I want to catch up to them, I actually have to risk it. So I basically decided at some point that no, I'm not gonna try to rush any defensive. If I'm gonna get defensive against cam launchers, then cool, but if not, then alright, I'll just try to think about the late game and not in the mid game. So I will try to win the game and not only survive until the late game. That was generally the thought about my strategy. Well, this screenshot basically describes my approach pretty nicely. Turn 91 and I have what, like 3 composites and a mohawk. Basically, if he would decide to attack me, I would be pretty much dead. So I went for universities, I was going for astronomy, I was super focused on economy and science. Basically, as I said, I just thought to myself, alright, I'm gonna go glass cannon this time. I'm gonna definitely go glass cannon until late game techs. So if Arabia would actually decide to attack me, I don't think I would have anything to slow him down, because I was definitely focused on economy and science, and it's definitely not the best economy science game. I mean, like, it's cool, but it's not the best approach. But still, at some point, I was definitely leading at demographics. Well, not all the stats in demographics, but science and production wise. So I was actually pretty scary that my closest neighbors, Rome, Arabia, and Portuguese, will actually at some point decide to attack me. But I was not too much scared. I'm like, Rome tried to kill Portuguese. Portuguese defended, and actually Rome was in trouble. So at some point, I think he actually lost, yeah, somewhere around here he lost his capital. So GG Massinissa. So I was not too much afraid of it. And Aguiladal was actually pretty helpful. He was planning to send me a religion. So he was not really showing any signs of hostility this time. And I kind of believe that, and I really was not worried too much about attack from any of those sides. My closest neighbor seems very peaceful and very true to their word, so I was yeah, let's just go all out economy. So as I said, I was not really paying too much attention to military. Yes, you can see some frigates and privateer in the screenshot, but this is not the timing, really. If Egypt or Indonesia decided to frigate rush me, I think they could easily done it. Yes, I do have some crossbows, but they are definitely not more than enough to actually defend against frigates or camel archers. So one more time, this is just a glass cannon. A true glass cannon, and not the best actually. If you are going a straight glass cannon build, I think you can achieve much more science. Yes, the land in here, it looks cool, right? You have mountains, you have jungle, but when you think about it, this land has not too much food, and that's a huge problem. So I was definitely continuing my peaceful, well, basically building up. The good thing is that actually the scoreboard looked very in my favor, because I was third. So in Indonesia and Egypt mind, well, in everybody else's mind, basically, I was not looking like a real threat, and that's basically a great place to be in. Basically, Sativa looked like the biggest threat, and I think at this point they were actually trying to make some sort of an alliance against him to take him down. And from my point of view, that was great. I was just sitting in here peacefully doing whatever I wanted. Yes, I'll be preparing against frigates theoretically, but if somebody would be committed to an attack, land attack or sea attack, I don't think I could hold this at this point. So generally, I had peace, absolutely peace until the late game. Now, my science output is not impressive. That's absolutely true, but if I remember correctly, I skipped rationalism, at least a lot of social policies that you would really like to have in the rationalist trees, and that really hurt my science a lot. But overall, I was not that bad. I had the text that I want. Indonesia and Arabia decided to attack Egypt, so he lost one city. He was trying to defend as much as possible, giving him a lot of trouble. He was actually asking me for help, which I couldn't actually provide too much. Well, that was not my true interest. Well, maybe yes, getting Cage down, that was my interest, absolutely. But slowing Arabia down, no. He was so nice to me for the whole game that I definitely didn't want to attack him. So what I actually decided, well, I added my 6th city to get the coal, get the factories, of course, get the science factory bonus and all that good stuff. Saved up a lot of scientists for the late game, but at some point I was thinking like, I could have trouble to actually win a science game. I need to do something, and the best course of action would be actually to kill Indonesia, since I was definitely ahead of Arabia, I was definitely ahead of Portuguese. Egypt would not be able to hold against Arabia and Indonesia for too long. He was definitely losing, and Indonesia, after getting all Egypt cities, would be probably unstoppable force at some point. So what I did decide to do is actually to build up, get the oil. I had a lot of oil, so I decided to actually try to do a surprise battleship attack on Indonesia to at least get his coastal cities, preferably, maybe not holding them, but at least taking them. So I will slow him down more than enough, so I can actually get an advantage into the later parts of the game. So these are the effects of my plan. I was able to get Medan. I'm not that entirely sure that I would be able to get Jakarta in a few turns, like Cage actually wrote, but eventually, probably at some point I would be able to take his capital. Egypt actually tried to deal some damage to me, but I was really focused on my coastal cities, the producing units, so at some point I would definitely overwhelm them both, or at least control the sea and even try for a land invasion maybe. Well, the damage, it was definitely done, so they decided actually that my fleet is too big. My fleet is too big, and I will be able to get this game after all. So they GG'd like, I don't know, 1 or 2 turns later on. So thank you for the game, everyone. Basically, GG. To summarize it, not the best of my games. Definitely, I was so tired in this game that I was making a lot of mistakes, and most of the time I should be punished for my glass cannon approach. This time this worked well, but probably if I was bothering some other players, more aggressive players, that probably wouldn't work. This time it worked out. So sometimes you take the risk and it pays off. This time it pays off. Most of the time it ain't. Glass cannon builds don't pay off that much if you're bordering someone that actually can recognize it, unless you make a deal, of course, with them. I've seen in multiple games people make deals with the closest neighbors. For example, we don't wage war until turn 160, and that's okay. Then you can go all out science, echo crazy without basically have to worry about your closest neighbor or anything like that. But if you don't have those kind of deals, going glass cannon is so risky. So this time that worked out, and yeah, basically cool game. Thank you very much for the game. One more time, GG. So thank you very much for watching. I invite you to watch the actual game that starts at the first position of the playlist if you haven't watched it before. And one more time, best wishes. Yoruus out.